Hi everyone, it's Leanie K. Today, I've got one that I geeked out over when I first heard about it. It's called letterlocking. Quick summary, back in the day, when people wrote secret letters that they needed to make sure weren't seen by unwanted eyes, they would seal them in creative ways that would make it obvious if someone had tampered with it. Reminds me of those intricately folded notes we would pass in class when I was growing up. The one I picked to try is one that was sent from Catherine de Medici to Raymond de Baccarie around 1570. I apologize for my horrible pronunciation. It's called a concealed spiral lock. Catherine de Medici was the queen consort of France during the Catholic Huguenot Wars. She was married to King Henry II. I bought a sealing wax kit, and then I went overboard and bought a different kind of wax and another set of seals. What? They were pretty. The kit came with everything you would need to seal something, including some really intense envelopes, but those weren't necessary for this craft. After some research into the type of paper that would work best, I saw people recommending newspaper because of its flexibility. So I bought some blank newspaper and printed a lovely article on tardigrades. What's a tardigrade? I'm so glad you asked. Check out my blog. I've put a link to the article and my blog in the description. Anyways, newspaper and I apparently aren't friends. I figured it was my fault and that I just hadn't figured out the trick. So I went to print more and accidentally printed on regular paper. I decided to just give it a shot, despite the numerous people on the internet saying it won't work. Well, I got it to work on the first try and on subsequent tries. Wiggling and squishing, my friends. Wiggling and squishing. So it's kind of difficult to describe the process, but I will do my best. After you have written your letter, cut a long, pointy, triangular flap in the paper. You need it attached because you are going to use it to basically sew the letter closed. After folding up the rest of the letter, use an awl or other pointy thing to stab a hole in it. You need the hole big enough to thread the triangular flap through. Measure how much of the flap it takes to get to the hole. Then squish the rest of the flap as skinny as you can get it. Now thread it through the hole and wrap it around the end of the letter. Sadie was very helpful for this part of the craft. At least she lost interest in it before I lit the candle. Next, put another hole in the letter, a little ways down from the first hole, and thread the flap through it again. Do this as many times as you have space for. I believe Catherine's had 4 loops, but I cut the flap in mine only long enough for 3. After you have it threaded, you'll use some wax to seal it. Light up a candle, melt the wax, and pour it on there. Use a little piece of paper to cover the wax while you stamp it. You don't have to use the paper, but that was the point of the concealed part of the spiral lock. So I used too much wax. I believe you're supposed to use the paper to hide the fact that there is a wax seal, but if you like the way the wax looks, go for it. Just know that sometimes wax on its own breaks off in the mail. I was going for as authentic as possible, so I used the paper. Though messier than the candle, the wax beads were nice because I didn't have to worry about it hardening before I put the paper on it. Next, stick a stamp on it and write your to and from addresses on it. See the googly eyes on the mailbox? Nom nom nom. And guess what? It will actually go through the mail, just like this. I sent one to my dad and it made it to him. Sweet! Well, that's it for this one. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.